Hi, this is Micornus, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I just want to speak about tithe just for a moment and why is tithe the most needed financial stream for any church? Why tithe is very key in every church actually to keep the finances flowing, to keep the church liquid enough to actually run projects and be able actually to have finances that are flowing in the church sustainably and in order to get the ministry running. Tithe is very important, and I know we are living in a generation that criticizes tithe in a big way, a generation that is actually very stingy. They want to hold back onto their monies, and they debate whether tithe is of the Old Testament, of the New Testament. And today I just don't want to engage into that. I want to just speak about the importance of tithe in running the ministry, because it's very important that we emphasize that. Now, you will know, some of you who have been born again for a while now, that without tithe, or a church that is without tithers cannot be successful. And I'm saying this as a declaration and statement from all the years that I've been born again. In the past years that have passed, 36 years that I've been in church, I can clearly declare that it is only churches that have got tithers that are successful. In other words, the backbone of every church is tithers generally. And I know that it may sound like I'm discounting people of free will offering, but the point here is that free will offering is something that somebody decide freely whenever they want to give. But tithe then becomes very, very sustainable because it's something that you can budget with monthly. If free will offering could be applicable whereby we know how much somebody will give and we know how consistent they will give, it would be good enough. But the problem is that you hear people saying, I give free will offering. But how much do you give? That's number one. Number two, also, how often do you give? How frequent are you giving? And how consistent are you? Because if you are not consistent, number one, and you are not consistent with the amount and the frequency, you're going to actually cause suspense, whereby the church leaders may not even know how much will come per month. And therefore, they cannot budget, they cannot work on that, they cannot actually know how to pay the staff and how to manage the cost of the church. And that's very problematic. And that's the reason why, as Church Governance Solutions, we emphasize that tithe is godly, tithe is actually biblical, tithe should be given. And that is the reason why, as Church Governance Solutions, we teach about tithe, because it is very key that a church have what we call sustainable flow of finances, sustainable flow of money, that they can actually run the church with expenses being paid off. And if their staff members being paid off, and the pastors are being also reimbursed of having salaries, actually. So that's very important. And a church that is sustainable in tithers, it is very important also to get their visionary focus in the work of the church. We have seen many times that pastors are forced actually to have a job outside, which we call secular jobs. They have to do. The reason is because we have actually dried up and ran out of people that are committed to tithe in churches. Now, because of that, then the pastors then are very much focused in secular jobs. And while they're focused in secular jobs, they may not actually give a proper attention to the ministry because they just don't have time. And that's very key that we look at that. And the very same members that are not tithing, they're the ones who are demanding pastors' attention. They're the very same people that are demanding that the pastor should actually attend to them. These are the people that are highly demanding, yet they do not give their tithe. And we are saying then tithe becomes very important because it is the most sustainable financial stream the church can ever have. And this is very important. And when you have people that are tithing, as I said, these people are consistent. These people you can budget with. These people you can know how much they bring in per month. And therefore you can actually run a church properly, sustainably so as well. It is the most reliable, therefore can be budgeted about. That's the tithe. It is very reliable because when you know you're having 3 people that are tithing a certain amount, these are the people that you know every month the money will come. And you know you can use the money for whatever you need to use, and that will be consistent every month. Even if you're having 5, you will budget on 5. You're having 10 tithers, you will budget on 10. Free will offerers actually going to come to offer only when they've eaten enough, when they've slept very well the previous night, when they are excited and happy, when their mood is high. They'll give actually inconsistently so. And that is the reason why, as much as they give, thank God they are giving. We appreciate that, but it's not consistent. So therefore, we cannot know when, again, your stomach is going to be full. Because if you give because your stomach is full now, you're excited, your emotion is high, we don't know when again that will happen to you. And that's the reason why churches are actually suffering. They're not able to budget. They're not able to run their affairs because the members are just not consistent in giving. And that's the reason why tithe then comes handy there, and it becomes something very important. Now, tithe is very important in the sense that if members have healthy income and they are faithful to give their tithes, the church growth can be achieved quicker. And this is very important. We speak about, when we are talking about church growth, and I'm sure you would know that. When we speak about church growth, we're speaking about exponential growth, which is the number and quantities of the people that are part of the church. So we're looking at quantity growth. That's what we talk about when we talk about church growth. Now, the second thing also that we speak about when we speak about church growth, we're speaking about what we call a quality growth, which is spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is when somebody starts to grow to a level of understanding and the principles of God. When somebody starts to understand the word of God and apply it in their lives, that's what we call quality growth, which is what we call spiritual growth. And that's very key that you have people, because these growths, they are actually congruent to each other. So the one way to see how matured somebody is, that they are growing actually spiritually, is when they move on to the third level, which we call financial growth of the church. Because financial growth of the church is whereby the church is actually having enough finances, disposable cash, that they can be able to run their activities very easily. But these three things, they tie together this way. Now, you're having a big number of people, and this very same number of people, if they are matured spiritually, they would actually be at a level where giving is not a problem for them. Now, sometimes the giving becomes problem, or finances become problem to people because they are purely just not matured. Now, if you are a pastor, you would prefer to have fewer people who are matured spiritually, who are therefore able to give financially. Because if you're going to have a lateral number of people and a great number of people as well that are not matured spiritually, they are actually going to actually make the church suffer, because when somebody's not matured spiritually, these are the people that will debate about tithe. These are the very same people that will debate about whether tithe is during the Melchizedek era only, or was it moved over to the New Testament. I mean, money is money, whether it's New Testament or not. Money is necessary in the church, and that's the reason why tithe then becomes applicable. The people say, why did Jesus not teach about tithe? Why does he teach about something that's not changing? Because remember that tithe remained, as it was written in the Old Testament, and he comes in Jesus, money still remains money. And that's the reason that he spoke about, he himself, about money, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And he speaks about that because money became very pertinent and very important. Now, we cannot actually discount the value of money in the church. And that's the reason why we're emphasizing as Church Governance Solutions, the church growth should be in number. The church growth should be also in spiritual growth, maturity of knowing the principles and applying them. And also, it must be growth in finances as well, because you cannot actually make the church viable and move fast and grow without finances. And that's very important that we emphasize that as well. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough, because there are many people that are debating the issue of tithe, but tithe becomes very, very important, and it does help the church to grow. I want to end up here today. Your host, Micornus, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. Remember our YouTube channel, please, and That is Micornus Phokane, and also Young Men Empowerment Forum. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the notification button. Don't forget also to follow us on Facebook, follow us on Micornus Phokane, follow us on Church Governance Solutions. So please also like those pages and click the notification buttons. Very, very important to do so. Don't forget our TikTok account, which is trending in a big way. So please follow us there as well. The good Lord will bless you as you do that. So please join us tomorrow once more as we deal with another topic. But I want to continue with this one of finances again. And the good Lord will bless you. And cheers for now.